Hello everyone. Today I'm going to start a new topic, and today's lecture is about welfare state. A brief about welfare state, and then in relation to welfare state, we'll also talk about welfare services as well as social services, because we had discussed earlier about the social policy. So now it would be more feasible for me, for us to understand uh, the idea behind welfare state, so you could relate very well that what okay how social policy would be related to welfare state part of it. So a very brief about welfare state, its principles, the basic idea, historical evolution. So we will be discussing all these aspects in welfare state today. If I talk about welfare state, the welfare state, it describes collectively a range of social policies which aims to provide basic services like health, education, employment, which would be according to the need and according to the normally free, of a charge through state funding. So it's particularly, it focuses on that, it talks about rather that what what would it talks that it talks about how a state, based on state's funding, what welfare measures and what welfare means would be given to them. So it ensures it's a system, it's a government system. When you talk about welfare state, it particularly also focuses on a government system, and it says that, or it aims at providing social and economic support to the individuals in need. It ensures a basic standard of living. It enhances the quality of life. Its central role, or rather it key features, important part, is social justice as well as economic stability, promoting social justice and maintaining uh, economic stability. And it is essential for mitigating the effects of economic cycles as well as social risk. It is sometimes extended more loosely to areas such as social security, in which the individuals are legally required to make substantial contributions in order to receive the benefits. The theory of welfare state is based on positive liberalism, right? And it is a kind of a state which extends social services to all citizens, protecting the weaker sections, providing economic and social security to the larger masses, and it tries to reduce, or it tries to bridge the gap between those who are privileged and those who are poor. I mean, between the privileged and the less privileged classes. And it also tries to make control. It acts as a means, or rather sometimes, if we talk about the welfare part of it, it also tries to control, or it make laws, legislations to control the economic crisis. It rationalizes, industries, make laws, to protect the safeguards the interest, arranges the supply of basic commodities, essential commodities. It also caters into maintaining social essential services, and through progressive taxation as well as income distribution and redistribution, it tries to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, and thereby harmonizes or create a balance between the various interests in the society. Now, I would like to quote one important, rather, I would like to quote from Michel Foucault, that what he meant, or rather, what he stated about welfare state. And so, borrowing from Michel Foucault in 1991 2007, according in his own words, I would like to quote Michel Foucault, and he says that I conceive of welfare state as a distinctive government mentality, right? That is to say, or to analyze, a mentality of rationality, of governing, that combines specific conceptions of problems and processes to be addressed, specific ways of thinking and upon the practical objects, and specific forms of knowledge, technology with which to do so. As I will show, this welfare governmentality emerged at the beginning of the 20th century, instituted across the developed world in the aftermath of World War II, and has become a normal feature of the capitalist democracy. So this has been taken from Michel Foucault's work, and this is what he had conceived of the idea of welfare state, or he had spoken about the rationality, the how as a welfare state would need to function, and in what aspect has to be taken into consideration. Now, if I say that welfare state, it is a contemporary state understanding which undertakes, the duty to ensure there is a fair distribution of income, protecting the groups and classes in such a manner that there is a direct social security practices and means and employment policies are generated and garnered. It focuses, or it rather politicized, to meet the basic requirements of society, such as education, health, housing, and it takes measures for regulating the working life, which can be which is related to the tax and wage policies. So it is a concept, we can say, of the government, where the state plays a very significant role, an important role in protection and promotion of economic as well as social well-being of its citizens. And a welfare state is based on certain principles of equality, equity, opportunity, equal distribution of wealth, resources, safeguarding the interest, providing safety nets, social insurance, and social security. India is described as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic in the preamble of the Indian Constitution, and accordingly, this Constitution has extensive provision to ensure the social economic welfare of the people of a country. In regard to this, two specific provisions have been made, and which has been clearly stated that in the form of fundamental rights, which are justiciable right. Nobody can, if there is a violation of fundamental rights, it can be challenged in the court. And the other as directive principles of state policy, where the state is obliged to make certain provisions in the various sectors such as health, education, employment, affordable housing, income generation, anti-poverty, poverty reduction, the decentralization of powers, authority, etc. So a welfare state and compassion towards the weaker section is necessary for the development of human as well as social capital. As it can be said that sabka saath, sabka vikas, for one united and robust India, if you want to make our country more progressive. So welfare state talks about inclusivity. Apart from its diversity, it is also, especially if I talk about our Indian subcontinent, being a diverse population, having a diverse population, it becomes imperative, or it becomes significantly important that each and every individual is included in the idea, in the connotation of what welfare measures and well-being would mean. So the aim of governance cannot be met without having the idea, the concept of welfare state, and developing compassion towards a weaker section. If you talk about the historical aspect of the development or welfare state, or how welfare state emerged, it had started 1930s, 40s as an early concept emerged. But before to this, I would like to say that Asa Briggs had defined welfare state, or given a conceptual aspect of it, that it is a kind of a state in which consciously organized public power is used to reduce the role of market forces, and it is accepted within the scope of the rule of welfare state to provide a minimum income guarantee to individuals and families to facilitate the prevention of certain social risk, and offer good living conditions to individuals and society through social welfare. the development of welfare state can be handled by categorizing in three periods. So it is about how it has developed, evolved during these centuries. So the first, if I would say that if we are categorizing the three stages, or rather the first period, the first period falls between 1817 and 1913. In the other words, from the late 17th century, when the Industrial Revolution took place, to early 19th century, right? So the next period was the period between 1950 and 1973. The next period was the time between the First World War and Second World War, and the time period between 1950 and 1973, which is referred to as Golden Age of the welfare state. Welfare state changed with economic crisis which realized from 1973. This period is referred to as welfare state crisis and refers to the period of to the period up to date. The emergence of welfare state dates back to 601. Poor laws. There had been three important stages, as I mentioned, that 1870 to 1913, and then the period that is this 17th century, when the Industrial Revolution took place, and then there was this period of between the World War I and World War II, and the time period would be practically 1950 to 1973, and the third stage would be 1973 and up till date. So this period is referred to as welfare state crisis and refers to the period up now. The emergence of welfare state, however, can be traced back to 1601, when we talk about the poor laws which were put in force in United Kingdom. Now, in this period, most of men were recruited for war, and when they turned back home, they lived the rest of their life without any social security or protection, but under risk. So, 1601 poor laws was the legislative initiative, the first legislative initiative to protect the elders, patients, and wounded people in the society. However, this legislative regulation was not sufficient, because the rest of the society was also need some kind of protection, some kind of social measures. So another legislative regulation was made in 1834 as a result of economic and social pressure, and because of the developments of the time. So this is the beginning of the stigmatizing effects of social policy. In the following periods, the effects of Adam Smith's free market economy started to change the state policies and legislative regulations, not only in UK but also in other countries. So welfare state really emerged after World War II along with World War I. All countries spent all their resources for war, spent all the resources for war after World War I. It was being understood that John Maynard Keynes' approach was not sufficient for creating job opportunities and reviving public economy. So after the war, it was believed that a second war could be prevented by means of creating job opportunities and providing new working life standards. With 1942 Social Security Report, Social Alliance, Social Insurance and Social and Allied Services, Lord William Beveridge aimed at creating a robust health system, providing income and decreasing employment rates. After the war, Beveridge's opinion were evaluated together with Keynes' approach for creating a rational welfare for United Kingdom. So, distrustfulness of liberalism urged countries for plunging into new quests. State started facing new social risks between 1870 and 1913. These risks were increase of aging population, pension payment, disease, occupational disease, and accidents, and so on. In 1880s, Bismarck made some efforts in order to provide social security. Reform efforts were made by Bismarck aimed at providing, protection through social security against the risk of industrial revolution, low income, and population movements. The long working hours and heavy working conditions increased poverty and socialist movement. With these developments, the regulations covering disease insurance in 1883, work accident insurance in 1884, and old age and disability insurance in 1889 were put in force. The welfare states start undergoing, after that, the welfare states start undergoing a transformation in since 1975, and the state intervention, which increased with 1929 economic crisis, was replaced with a system in which the state shined after the oil crisis between 1973 and 1979. In this period, state adopted the opinion that state should be less interventionist with regard to making economic and social policies, making economic and social policies. So it is observed that the budget deficit was caused by the pressure of social expenditure increased in this period when unemployment became chronic, inflation rate increased, and economic growth decreased, especially in Western European countries. So the neoliberal approach at this time, again, neoliberal approach which emerged in this period was adopted as a new form of liberalism, a result of solution seeking against Keynesian policies, and as a result of fierce competition caused by economic crisis, a new period started in the late 1970s, and in the period Keynesian welfare state went through a crisis. With globalization, and then this emergence of privatization, liberalization, and globalization, and with the advancement of globalization, welfare state now that had stability, economic growth, as well as good working conditions and price offers ended, and a new period in which a nation state had less authority stated. Okay, so these developments, which also affected social policies, led to adoption of neoliberal approach for decreasing social expenditures. States started restructuring and new reforms in order to restart economic growth. So in the last 20 years, many countries have made regulations to decrease social expenditure. Welfare state continues to develop. State still plays a very significant and important role in determining social policies. It is also possible to say that not only economic indicators, but also the changes has taken place in demographic and social structure, which plays very determining in the policies of the welfare state. The welfare state, as already mentioned, I would like to say it again, that aims at redistribution income, and thus plays a role of an interventionist as well as a regulatory body. Social democratic, mainly characterized by its high commodification and strong universalism. The latter means that there is a strong sense of social rights and a strong sense of being able to get your livelihood without relying on the market, and the former means that the most class are in the welfare state. Moreover, this talks about this that marks out the market, that is private sector providing such things like pension plan. So the ideal is not to maximize dependency on the family, but capacity for individual independence. So the state has opted to take direct responsibility of caring for children, the aged, and the helpless, and it is also committed to take direct, to allow women to choose work rather than household. Now, I would like to in fact, they had saying that in the words of Esping Anderson, or rather Gosta Esping Anderson, provided or suggested there is a lot of state provided childcare, and in fact within, if you talk about the social, if you talk about the as I say that Gosta Esping Anderson, in his book, the three words of welfare capitalism, the three words of welfare capitalism. He had spoken about, or rather had given three classification of it. Social democratic, liberal and conservative. So social when we talk about, I just now spoke about the social democratic, and the second part is, rather the second type, which is more of the liberal type, which is characterized by low D commodification, and there is a sense that social rights are strongly entrenched, and also a strong individualistic self-reliance in this tradition. It is based upon the fact that individuals or family, they possess means to do without that help. And then in lastly, the conservative type, the main feature in the presence of a degree of class alliance due to there's a preservation of status differentials, but decommodification is comparatively modest, right? So this type features social insurance more than social assistance. Most of the benefits would be for unemployment or sickness, and are other entitlements which are based on insurance contributions previously made, and the benefits received would vary according to the income of the individual. Now, if I have just spoken about the historical, a very brief aspect of historical development. Now, if we look into the core principles of welfare state, in fact, I would like to talk about, like, if I say the core principles of welfare state, social justice, redistribution of wealth, and provision of welfare services, or sorry, public services. Now, ensuring, when you talk about social justice, it tend to ensure equitable access to resource and opportunities, and also addressing disparities in wealth and opportunity. Social justice is also into the form of meting out or trying to mitigate any injustices done in the society. So when we talk about justice, it is also about equality, equity, fairness in competition, opportunities. It focuses on having that kind of freedom, accessibility to the resources. Secondly, redistribution of wealth. As in policy also, if one of the major objective or aim of social policy was the redistribution of resources. So here also, redistribution of, in welfare state also, redistribution of wealth ensures that the gap between the those who are privileged and those who are less privileged, or between the rich and poor, has been eliminated, or it tries to bridge the gap between those class to distinct classes. Initially, it was the higher class and the lower class, but now we have just initially there were just two classes, that was the working class and the ruling class, but now there is a distinction: higher class, middle class, as well as the lower class. So this, when we talk about redistribution of wealth, that is, whatever resources are there in the country, they are being generated and they are being redistributed in the form of progressive taxation, social insurances, benefits, social securities, welfare measures, welfare schemes, policies, laws, legislation. So particularly, if I say that insurances, taxation, policies, schemes which would benefit and would try to redistribute the resources which are generated in the country. And by the basic idea or the basic purpose of redistribution of wealth or resources, or is to bring about equality, that is income equality, and it tries to reduce or eliminate any kind of income disparities. Although it is not possible to completely uh, eliminate income disparities, but at least we can make certain measures, or we can take certain measures which would reduce any income inequalities or disparities amongst the general masses. And through this, we also tries to provide benefit to the most vulnerable groups. So redistribution of wealth is just not in terms of monetary aspect, but it also in terms of resources, in terms of opportunities, in terms of giving accessibility, whatever resources, whatever wealth, so the monetary benefits to the larger population. And then of course welfare state also has the agenda of provision of public services. Now, when we talk about public services, in my previous lecture, I had said that whenever there is public involved, it means there has to be a government role and government intervention. So, universal ensuring, when you talk about public services, you are talking about public insurance, social security measures, universal accessibility to essential services like healthcare, education, trying to achieve employment, skill enhancement. Particularly, it is more of healthcare services, accessibility to healthcare services, and educational upliftment. And it also about strengthening social safety nets to support all citizens, to protect all citizens. To give them that kind of platform where the individuals would come forward and they can uh, seek to their us they can seek employment opportunities, they can utilize their resources with them to their maximum potential. So the provision of public services are also given to the people, so that when all channels of welfare and means have been exhausted, that is family or market, then the government interventions and the government roles become of paramount importance, and they provide those basic services to the people. Now, there are types of welfare state. The most important study, as I mentioned earlier, about this issue has been made by Gösta Esping Anderson. And Gösta Esping Anderson, in his book The Three Worlds of Welfare Capitalism, has divided welfare state into three kinds: neoliberal, social democratic, and the conservative. Now, if I had mentioned earlier that the liberal welfare state, it emphasizes on minimal state intervention and market solutions. So, with the laissez-faire economy, with privatization and liberalization, it demanded less intervention. The state role had just been reduced to bring about certain, or to impose certain sanctity, to impose certain legislative aspect, legislations, to have minimum control over market fluctuations and market. So it was kind of just a regulatory body. When you talk about the liberal welfare state, that it involved a very limited scope for the state, where it was a laissez-faire market, it was a free market solutions was given, where the state intervention was only to the extent that it provided a certain legality, certain legitimacy to actions, laws and regulations in terms of economic policies or acts, which would protect the traders, the employers, the employees, and those who are benefiting from economic pursuits. So the benefits are often mean tested and targeted, and at the most needy people. Then there's the idea of social democratic welfare state, which is comprehensive and universal welfare program. So which looked into the what kinds of social measures, social insurances, safety nets in terms of healthcare, housing, infrastructure development, education, employment opportunities, caring for children, elderly, pension payments, pension plans. All these were being taken into this comprehensive universal welfare program, because social and democratic, two important approaches were added to this welfare concept. That was social, which means the society, which means a larger general masses in public, and democratic, that is the freedom, the choices the person would have in gaining those privileges, or having that kind of accessibility, that kind of reach to avail the benefits of these welfare programs and schemes. So there were universal programs like educational programs, educational scheme, educational policies, which caters, or rather which is applicable to all citizens, particularly in India. If I talk about educational policies, it is applicable to each and every citizen of India, to get education, and nobody can deny that education until the 14 years. So the primary education, elementary education, 6 to 14 years of compulsory education free is there. Then universal healthcare programs which are there, for affordable housing schemes are there, tax uh, tax exemptions for particular classes like the women, or for the elderly. So there are universal comprehensive welfare program under this social democratic aspect, and high level of social benefits and broad coverage. Under the social democratic welfare state, the idea of social and democratic is that the state has full opportunity, the state has given certain opportunities to the people where they would a higher level of benefiting social benefits, and would have a broader coverage, that is maximum number of individuals would be including the welfare in the welfare idea and ideology. Then there is conservative welfare state, which focuses mainly on maintaining traditional family roles and providing support through family structures. So the conservative welfare state ideology was more in confined to the family matters and family structures, and it just limited the scope of benefits and privileges. And in fact, well, under this approach, welfare programs were often linked to employment status and what kind of contribution the person himself or herself is making. Coming to, if I talk about further elaboration on the liberal welfare state, that is, it focuses on individual responsibilities and market driven solutions. It also talks about the various social benefits which are minimal and means tested. In United States, examples on private provision, minimal state involvement, and in Canada there is a mixed system with significant private and public elements. In India also we have a liberal welfare approach where both capitalist as well as socialist mixed economy has been taken into consideration, where market as well as individual enterprises are given weightage. So through liberal welfare state, it encourages self-reliance, and it can lead to but it can lead to higher levels of poverty and inequality. So sometimes the idea of self-reliance and self-sufficiency, it have this limitation that it can, when the person has been exhausted of all the resources and all channels of means of garnering any kind of support, economic support, then it could also lead to a certain level of poverty and inequality. So the limitation is of limited safety nets for those who are not in employment, that is, those who are covered under the unorganized sector. Because see, usually the laws, regulations, legislations would covering those who are employed in a proper establishment and those who are more in the formal organized structure. So the safety nets for these people who are working in an unorganized sector or not employment, they are very limited scope for their coverage. And so much so, social democratic welfare state, extensive welfare programs which has been designed, which has been implemented, which has been formulated to larger universal coverage, and there is a through which would the intervention or the role of the state becomes very significant, and there's a high level of public spending and taxation. And like Sweden and Norway, where there the comprehensive welfare benefits with universal benefits, and there's a high level of social services with low poverty rates. Of course, it reduces inequalities and provides strong social safety nets, and but then high taxation can be a burden on the economic activity or the state. And the conservative welfare state, it emphasizes on preserving more of a traditional family structures and social order. It confines itself to family structures, more of a primary unit, as a which is considered as a primary unit. And the benefits are often linked to employment and contribution. So people first, they have the employment opportunities, they may take the support of their family members and their own contribution contributions in enjoying any kind of economic pursuit. Like Germany and France, they have very strong social insurance system with focus on social stability. France also have family oriented benefits and the significant state involvement. It provides stability and support, but many reinforce traditional roles and inequalities. Thank you, everyone. Today I'll end my lecture here, and I may continue with the welfare state in my next lecture. I hope you have understood the backdrop of welfare state, and what particularly welfare state and how it has been defined. Thank you.